Hey guys, my name is Amin. I drift in real life. I actually lived in Japan for a year and learned how to drift from the mountain street racers. Today my car is broken, so we're going to be playing some Roblox. Untitled Drift Game. Now, one of the great things about Untitled Drift Game is the wide selection of cars that you can choose from. Now, I have all the cars here, so today we're going to look at each and every one of them, including the Porsche. Although, hint, it is garbage. I'll save you the time of watching the whole video. It's garbage. So we'll start off with this yellow S13. This is the car a lot of people buy for no reason, just because it is the first car in the list. So compared to other cars, it's got quite a bit of grip. On Drift Playground, you probably want to stay in third gear, maybe touch fourth sometimes. It shoots lots of flames out the back, which is a nice, cool little feature. Honestly, definitely not one of my favorite cars to drive, but if you have it, don't sweat. It's a fine car. You can definitely work with it until you get enough drift score and enough cash to buy a different one. I think my keyboard is malfunctioning because my up arrow, which I'm using for the gas pedal, keeps unpressing itself. Maybe I just have to press harder. So overall, this car has plenty of power, plenty of grip. It's not a bad car. You can drive it on any track, and it looks okay too. It's got these sick wheels on it. In real life, this car is based on Shirts Tucked In's S13, although the livery is now removed due to copyright issues. Okay, next car. The animal style red S13 coupe. So overall, this car looks pretty similar. Doesn't have a spoiler, that's about it. But the way it handles is completely different. In this car, third gear is fine, but you can also go up to fourth very easily because of how little grip it has. This is fourth gear, here's fifth. See, it spins the tires even in fifth gear. Compared to the first car, this one has way less grip, so it's much smoother, slides a lot more, but it's also a bit slower. Look at my lines. Look at my lines. You ain't driving like me. You ain't. Okay, there's some of you that can drive better than me, but most of you can't. If you want to learn how to drive like me, I made a pretty bad video a while back on how to drive in this game. So you can check that out. I'll put a link on the screen right now. My gas pedal keeps cutting out. It's annoying the heck out of me. Anyway, next car. So, this is the third S13 we're going over. I painted mine pink to look like an N-style car, but it's originally purple, or I think it's black now, because they removed the livery. Oops. You didn't see that. So, this car is similar to the first car, the yellow one. It has a lot of grip, but compared to that car, it's a bit smoother and it's got more power. It's more precise. I feel more comfortable in this car, and I think it looks better too. And besides, everybody, all the noobs are all driving the yellow car, so I kind of don't want to be seen in that car anymore. If you feel me. It just makes you look like an amateur somehow. But yeah, this car is probably my favorite car to drive in. A little bit of lag causing me to mess up a little bit here. I might just have to connect an external keyboard next time. It's really sad that my keyboard is dying. See that? You see that? That is drifting. Alright, next car. So the next one is an S14, so it's the same chassis underneath, but it's a different body style. So as you can see, it's got the hatchback, and then up front it has the pop-up headlights. And honestly, I think white is the best color for this car. Now, this one is pretty slow, doesn't have a lot of power, but it does not have a lot of grip either. So it's pretty easy to get sideways. Great car for a beginner, and it looks absolutely amazing. Look how smooth it is. My gas pedal cut out again, sorry, but look how smooth this thing is. Really? I wonder what happens if I just mash the arrow key all the way down really hard. Seems like that's working. Okay, look how smooth it is. And with the white paint, it looks pretty angelic too. Okay, I was absolutely smashing the up arrow, and the car wasn't moving. Very sad. Next car, black S14. I'm not a big fan of this car, but I know a lot of people who are. It looks good, it's got nice wheels on it. Massive exhaust. It's got a good amount of power. Not too much grip, but not too little either. It's a good middle ground. Very balanced car. Pretty easy to drive, but also if you're a good driver, you can drive it at a high level and keep up with pretty much anyone. I know my lines are significantly worse now, but that's because I switched to WASD instead of arrow keys, and I am not used to WASD. The suspension geometry on this car is quite nice. It's got a lot of steering angle, so it's hard to mess up. You can throw it into a corner as hard as you want, and it will not spin out. Alrighty, next car. Next up we have the S15. Now I like this car a lot, not because it's particularly good, but because it looks so pretty. Look at this thing. Especially with the white paint. There is definitely not a better looking car in this game. Just look at that. I like to turn off ABS, mostly because I think if you leave ABS on, you just have a skill issue. No, seriously, I mean, I turn ABS off because with ABS off, I can use the brakes to lock up all four wheels very easily, and that will extend the slide, kind of like the handbrake, but for all four wheels. Some people prefer to have ABS so that they can brake normally. That's absolutely fine, nothing wrong with that. Just comes down to personal preference. So as far as the S15 goes, it's similar to the S14, but it's got way less power. If we go to 4th gear, there's just not enough power to drift anymore. It's really struggling now. If we go to 5th gear, it's barely moving at all. So yeah, 3rd gear is pretty much where you want to keep this car. It looks amazing, but it's kind of slow. You'll have trouble keeping up with people during tandems. And don't expect to throw any kind of crazy entries because it's just so slow. Now you can drive it to better lines than this, obviously. Again, I'm using WASD, which I'm not used to, so my lines are worse. Sorry. Next car. R32. So we have an R32 Skyline. It is not a GTR. It is an R32 gtst. And it's a very, very good looking car. The model is ripped directly from Assetto Corsa, like most of the cars in this game. And just look at this thing. Beautiful. It shoots nice big flames, has a good sound, and overall it handles similarly to the second car that we went over, so the second S13 coupe. Very smooth, very little traction, and the engine does not have a ton of power, but it doesn't really need it because there's no traction. Very easy car to drive, great for a beginner. A lot of experienced drivers also like this car just because of how consistent it is, how easy it is to continuously keep a drift going without crashing. Immediately crashes. Overall, it's a very fun car to drive, very easy to control. If you can't drift this car, then I don't know. You may want to reconsider what game you're playing. The steering and suspension are all very close to a stock street car, so it handles very predictably, and it's a very fun car to drive. I think I said that already. Anyway, the next car, the 350Z Z33. I used to drift one of these in Japan in real life, and let me tell you, this thing handles nothing like the real one. In real life, it's an amazing car to drive. Absolutely awesome, epic car. But here in Untitled Drift Game, the devs really dropped the ball. It's slow, it's got no power, the steering absolutely is awful. The grip is super unpredictable. It understeers an awful amount. Overall, do not buy this car unless you literally are just a big fan of the 350Z / Fairlady Z, and you have to have this car for looks or whatever, or the sound. The engine sound is pretty unique, but as far as Z33s go, this is not even a good looking one, in my opinion. I don't think these wheels go with the car very well at all. It does not have enough power. The gearing is awful. Yeah, just don't get this car, please. Next up, we have the yellow S14. This one is a little bit like the other black S14, but it is more powerful. And the suspension is very similar to the R32, I would say. But it's definitely faster than the R32. And the body kit is pretty good looking, so for style points, this one definitely has some stuff going for it. Also shoots massive flames. Okay, next car. The C33 Nissan Laurel. Just looking at it, this thing looks very powerful. We have that front mount intercooler over there. It's a nice four-door car, like a Mafia VIP style sedan. Alright, let's see how it drives. First off, the sound is... I'm not a fan of it. That's all we'll say about that. As far as how it actually drives, it's a very pleasant experience. The It's got plenty of power, so we're in 4th gear. We can go up to 5th gear and still driving fine. Look at that. Lots of power. There's almost no grip. If you look at these tires, that will make sense though, because they're basically rubber bands. Very easy car to drive. It's super duper low to the ground, so I do not recommend going off track, because you probably won't survive. Okay, next car. The ER34 Nissan Skyline 25 GT Turbo Sedan. And it is gold because I painted mine gold. I don't remember what color it comes in. It might be gold actually. You know what? It comes in gold. Never mind, I take it back. This used to be one of my favorite cars to play with. So the characteristic of this car is that it's super duper grippy. A very precise car. It's not very smooth. You sacrifice smoothness for precision. It's like a scalpel, like a razor blade. If you want to be right on the wall and be able to control every millimeter of your angle, this is the car to go with. But it may not be the most fun experience, to be honest. Depends on your driving style for sure. It's got plenty of power and lots of grip. So it's a very unique car in this game in that regard. If I were to enter a drift competition in this game, if they ever do one, I would probably use this car. Alright, moving on. We have one more S14. You'll notice the front on this one looks different because this is a Zenki car, whereas the other two are kouki cars. Kouki is the later version. Zenki is the earlier version. So this one has a V8 in it. It sounds a bit different. It's got quad exhaust, and both sides shoot flames out. Because it has a V8, it's got lots of torque, lots of power. You can go in any gear you want. Here we're in 5th gear, absolutely fine. There's not a lot of grip either. So we have a lot of power, a lot of torque, and almost no grip. Meaning that you're not going to be super fast. You're not going to be super precise. But you are going to have a very smooth drifting car. There's not any kind of crazy camber or anything on the wheels, so the steering works great. It's a good looking car too. Taillights are not really my style, but some people will like them. It's a good car, no complaints. Here is a very interesting car. So this is the only car with visible damage in the game. It is a JZX90 Mark II, or Chaser, I forget. And it's missing body panels. It's a complete drift missile. You can see that big HKS intercooler up front. It's got some camber. It's got a proper drift suspension setup. This is a dedicated drift car, not street legal or anything like that. And it handles very similarly to the R34 Skyline. So it's got lots of grip, but it has a bit less power than that car. Nevertheless, because it has so much grip, you can keep up with pretty much anyone in this car. And it's also a unique aesthetic in this game. There aren't really any other damaged cars. So it's pretty cool. It's a very big car, long wheelbase, big heavy chassis, so keep that in mind. It's not super precise, even though it is very gripped up. You can definitely feel the weight. It's kind of a boat. Speaking of boats, we have a couple more sedans coming up. So first, another JZX car, the JZX 80. This one is slammed all the way to the ground. Look how low that is. It will definitely not survive over there in the grass. Don't go off course. So this car, it feels even bigger than the JZX 90. Although the wheelbase isn't any bigger, the body itself is kind of massive. So you gotta be careful when you're getting close to the guardrail. You don't want to slam into it because the car just extends so far out. It's a massive body. But it drifts pretty well. And it looks sick too. Not too much grip, good amount of power. The suspension setup is more style over function. It's not the best car for a beginner, but it is drivable. I'd recommend it for someone who's more experienced, that's for sure. Alright, the last big JZX chassis. The JZX 100 Toyota Mark II. Like the last two cars, it's a big wheelbase, kind of a boat, kind of heavy. It's definitely less grippy than the JZX 90, the missile, but it has a good amount of grip. It has enough grip that you can tandem with someone, you can keep up just fine. My keyboard is really acting up, otherwise I would be tandeming with someone right now. Next time. I actually do intend to make more videos in this game. If that's something you're interested in seeing, perhaps with a better keyboard setup, definitely let me know in the comments down below. JZX 100 is a very fun car. I have some friends that really like practicing in this car just because of how stylish it looks, and it's a nice big boat, comfy cruiser type of car. Okay, now something completely opposite. Toyota AE86 Levin Coupe. My teacher in Japan actually drives this exact car in real life. Fun fact. So in this game, honestly, it handles awesome. A lot like it does in real life. Ignore that. Okay, here we go. So you can go third gear, you can go up to fourth gear if you feel like it. This car has very, very little power, but the way it's geared allows you to use fourth gear as well. It's a very, very tiny car. It's an 80s Corolla, keep that in mind. Not a lot of power, but because of how much grip it has and how it's geared, you can keep up with pretty much anyone in a tandem if you need to. One of my favorite cars personally. I love spending time playing with this car, especially because of the aesthetic. You know, my teacher drives one in real life as well, so there's that. It's just overall a cool car that has a lot of memories for me. And in this game, it handles beautifully, sounds good, looks great. The interior is super detailed. That's one of the things about this game actually. The interiors have a lot of detail because they're all ripped from Assetto Corsa. And so, a lot of detail on the inside if you switch to first person cam. Look at that. Alright, next car. JZ880. So this is a Mark IV Toyota Supra, JZ880. This car is a car I think a lot of people are gonna be very curious about. If you want my honest opinion, if you're a beginner, this is not a good car. But if you have a bit of experience in this game, go for it. Get this car. It's one of the fastest cars in the game besides the Corvette. It's got lots of grip, lots of power, 6-speed manual transmission. Most of the cars in this game are a 5-speed, but this one has a 6-speed, shoots big flames, sounds good, and is so fast. Keep in mind, I'm in 5th gear right now, and the car is having no issues whatsoever. Went down to 4th there just because. And there you have it, there's the Supra. It's a big, wide car, very stable chassis, very fun to drive. Lots of power, lots of grip. Great car for Ebisu, actually. But not a great car for a beginner. Next up, we have the Z30. In real life, this is basically a rebadged Toyota Supra. But in this game, it drives completely different. I would definitely recommend this car to a beginner. This is like the Supra, but it's way smoother. It sounds good too. It's got nice style. Look at this bodywork. Look at those wheels. And because it has so much less grip, it's much easier for a beginner to handle. If you're thinking about which car to get as your first car in Untitled Drift Game, or which car to save up for next, this is probably my recommendation to you, is get this car, the Z30 Toyota Soarer. When I was grinding for points, I spent a lot of time driving with this car. Lots of fun, very stylish, and not a lot of people use it in this game, surprisingly, despite how good it is. It might be because of how buried it is in the car menu, but yeah, it's not a super popular car to drive with. So you'll be unique, and it's just so easy to drive. Next up is the Altezza. Now, this one bothers me a lot. Take a look at this, right? I have this car in real life. Okay, I've had 5 of these, so I know what I'm talking about. I drift one of these in real life. I drifted one back in Japan. Look at the suspension setup. This is not a functional suspension setup. This is like 15 degrees of camber. That is not okay. Now, I wouldn't mind if it was just visual, but the car handles like it too. It handles like absolute dog water. Let's take it for a spin so you can see what I mean. So at first it seems fine, and then you go to transition and the car handles so funky because it's basically sitting on the ground with how low it is. there's very, very little grip. It's like you're ice skating. You're ice skating in a drift car, is what this is. And let me show you what happens when you hit a barrier with a front wheel. Your steering derps out, and then you crash. Like, you can't recover. If you tap the wall with a front wheel, because of how much camber there is, your steering completely derps out. Like your two front wheels will be pointing in different directions entirely. Now, if you want to drive it just purely for style purposes, because you want to have an Altezza or IS300 in the game, go ahead, but keep in mind, as far as handling physics goes and consistency, this is one of the worst cars in the game. Moving on, Mazdas. We have the Miata over here. Very cheap little car in this game. Tiny little wheelbase, very easy to handle. It's very cute, and I believe the pop-ups do work. This one's a left-hand drive car, so it's an American Miata, not a Japanese one, like most of the cars in this game. The pop-up headlights do not work actually. I remember back in the earlier days of this game, this was the only car with working headlights. Fun fact. Bit of lag right there, that was not the car's fault. So because of how it's geared, it's very similar to the AE86 Corolla. You can run third gear, you can run fourth gear, just fine. There's not a lot of power, but the tires are super tiny, which contributes to you being able to drift quite smoothly. And a lot of you guys have Miatas in real life, so might as well get it because of how cheap it is and how detailed this model is. Look at that. Isn't it so cute? Overall though, it's a tiny little car. It's not that great for keeping up in tandems and stuff. It's not really a serious drift car. Here we have a serious drift car. This is an FC RX-7, all blacked out, big stance wheels. It's got the S5 tail lights. Listen to that rotary exhaust. Besides being super duper stylish, this car is also a great car to drive if you know what you're doing. But if you're a beginner, it can be quite challenging because of how much power it has, and it does not have a lot of grip. The wheel tire setup is very much so for aesthetics, not for grip. Fourth gear is a bit difficult at lower speeds in this car. On this track, you're going to want to stay in third. Although at Ebisu, you're going to have to put it in fourth to get enough speed to do the main corner. Look at that, in fourth gear, it just can't rev up. It just can't really get into those higher RPMs. It's not exactly how this works in real life, but close enough. So yeah, good car, but for a beginner, I wouldn't recommend it. And it's kind of slow. Now, imagine that, but with a bunch more power, and we have the FD RX-7. Same exhaust sound. Same grip physics pretty much, but as far as power goes, we have a lot more of it now. So here we are in fourth gear, no issue at all. My steering derped out a little bit. That is one thing with this car. Steering does derp out a little bit, but definitely nowhere near as bad as the Altezza. Let's get a good lap in real quick. I think I'm getting the hang of using WASD a little bit. This whole time my arrow keys have just been malfunctioning, so can't use them. Overall, this car is super smooth. Lots of power. Easy to drive-ish. When I say easy to drive, that's relative to like the Supra, for example. But the Z30 is way easier to drive than this. Alright, next car. BMWs. So we have the BMW E30, which I'm not looking forward to driving, but I said I would drive every car in the game, so here we go. It's boxy, it's a BMW, it's a cool car in real life. In this game, it's slammed all the way to the ground. Handles basically the same as the Miata. A little bit more power than the Miata, a little bit less grip than the Miata. It's a car, I mean, it drifts. I don't find it particularly enjoyable to drift in. I don't think there's any reason to buy it unless you have extra money, or you just feel like having an E30 specifically. As far as the handling of the car itself, there's no notable redeeming factors or reasons why anyone should buy it, in my opinion. Next car. E36. So, the E36 in this game is based on an E36 M3, not a base model E36. So it's got plenty of power actually. And if we look at these wheels, these are Advan AVS Model 5s. These wheels cost $1,000 each in real life, just so you know. Just thought I'd say that. This car has plenty of grip. It's a non-turbo engine, naturally aspirated. So there's no turbo lag, it's got lots of torque. It's very responsive, and because of how much grip it has, it's a very precise car to drive. And given how cheap it is, I think it's one of the best starter cars if you're starting out in this game, or you want to buy your first car in this game. I think this is a very, very good contender, especially if you like a precise, gripped up driving style. Alright, next car, the E46. So the E46 is totally different from the E36. It's also an NA engine. It is in fact the cheapest car in this game. So it has more power than the E36, but it has a lot less grip. If you look at these tires, you can see that they're just rubber bands. They don't give you much traction. But this is a drift game, so traction isn't actually a necessity. And getting in this cheapest car in the game, you'll notice it's quite good. It's definitely a lot better than many, many more expensive cars in this game. And I think you can be very competitive with this car. Like, there's no reason not to buy it, I would say. It can do anything you need a car to do in this game, and it is the cheapest possible car to buy in the game. And it's an actual M3. I don't know why it's so cheap in this game. It costs about twice as much in real life. And some of the other cars cost way more than they cost in real life in this game. I don't know what was going on in the developers' heads, but this is a great car. For starter cars, or if you need to get a different car than the yellow one that you bought because it was the first option, go ahead and buy the E46. It's a great car, easy to learn on. If you have enough money, buy the Z30, but that's like twice the price. Or if you think you're confident in your skills and you want something precise, go ahead and grab the E36. Moving on, we'll hit the Mercedeses. There's two sedans, so we'll start with the first one of these. And we managed to spawn it into a guardrail. Might have to call a tow truck. I'll be right back. So this is a German car. It's going to be left-hand drive, so you get in the left side of it. This one is a diesel. Look at all that black smoke. Now, being a diesel means it has gobs and gobs of torque. Torque is rotational force that allows you to get the wheels spinning when you press the accelerator, really at any RPM. So this is a very consistent car. Very easy to keep it going sideways, even after you let off the gas. You just tap the gas again, and it goes sideways again. And there you have me struggling to use WASD. Let's try arrow keys. Maybe my up arrow will decide to work now. My up arrow is working, at least temporarily. And I managed to hit the wall anyway. Impressive. Look how classy this boxy Mercedes is, drifting sideways, spewing black smoke all over the track, with shiny three-piece wheels. Nobody really drifts in Mercedes in real life, so if you show up at the drift track in a Mercedes, it's kind of a flex. Now you can see I was not bluffing. I was definitely struggling earlier with the WASD, but now that my arrow keys seem to be working, I can actually pull off some pretty epic lines. Okay, maybe not that one. I was in 5th gear. That's my excuse. I forgot to downshift. But isn't it impressive that this car can even handle 5th gear? It's just how much torque this diesel engine has. It's quite mind-boggling. Okay, that's enough drifting with the Mercedes. Let's get a different car now. The other Mercedes sedan. It's a black one. Honestly, as far as differences go with the other with the white Mercedes sedan, I think the main difference is this one is stanched out way more. It's completely slammed, lots of camber, almost as bad as the Altezza, but not quite. This one is also a turbo diesel. So as far as that goes, the engine is pretty much the same, but the suspension is significantly worse. It has even less traction somehow. It's a cool looking car, it's very classy. Would make some great clips, but if you're a beginner, don't recommend this car. We have the big Mercedes coupe. I think this was the last car that they added to the game. And this one has a very nice interior. Look at that handbrake. Big hydro e-brake, nice red interior, very detailed. I think the interior is one of my favorites. And this Mercedes has a big old V8, not a diesel. It's a massive car. Look at this. Look how big the body is. It only has 2 doors, but it's bigger than a lot of sedans. As far as handling goes, I mean, it handles like a boat. Even more of a boat than the JZX cars, I would say. It's like a yacht. It's like a cruise ship. But it has lots of power. And the suspension is very responsive. So despite the fact that it is a yacht, it is very drivable. I wouldn't say it's a beginner car, but it's not hard to drive either. Good car. Very, very good looking car too. I could totally see myself driving something like this in real life. Okay, now we have two more cars left. We have the C5 Corvette and we have the $200,000 Porsche. If this person will stop kidnapping me, then we can continue with the video. Here's the Corvette. I'm not really feeling black today. Let's swap the color a bit. Let's try green, like a dark green color. That works. Okay. So here's the C5 Corvette. This is one of the fastest cars in the game, up there with the SUPRA, although this has less grip than the SUPRA, making it more predictable and easier to drive. As far as power goes, this has a big LS motor in it. LS is a Chevrolet V8. You can hear that motor screaming. As far as like pro drift cars go, if you want something with a lot of power, it's either got to be this or the SUPRA, and this one is much smoother and the SUPRA has much more grip, so depending on your driving style you can pick which one you want to go with. But you really can't go wrong with the Corvette. It's not hard to drive, it just has a lot of power. So if your throttle control is not that great yet, you may want to avoid getting this car until you can develop some throttle control, meaning you're not always flooring the gas. Because if you always floor the gas in this car, you're going to end up spinning out. Next car. We saved the worst for last, and here is the Porsche 911. This is a 964 non-turbo, and honestly, this is the worst car in the game. Let's take it for a spin so you can see just how awful this thing truly is, especially considering it is the most expensive car in the game, costing $200,000. First of all, let's take a look at the steering angle. You can see it has a lot of it, lots of steering angle. That is pretty much the only modification it has for drifting. You can see that the geometry itself is not really changed much from stock, so this suspension is not set up for drifting. It does shoot flames out the back, but who cares about that? Because the car has no power. Here we are in 4th gear and it's struggling. It's struggling in 4th gear. Here's 3rd gear. 3rd gear, it's struggling. It's geared awfully. The car rotates like a Volkswagen Beetle, because that's what it essentially is. A glorified Volkswagen Beetle. For $200,000, I really expect something a bit better than this. But really, the devs just added this into the game as a novelty item for anyone who completed everything else in the game and just needed a side quest. That's my opinion on the matter, at least. You can drift this car, and if you can drift well in this car, it is a flex, honestly. Because it is very lacking in power, the handling is atrocious, and it is not at all set up for drifting. Suspension is also super soft, so there's lots of body roll. Like it sways from side to side during transitions. Look at that. Yeah, don't recommend this car at all. It is a waste of $200,000. Only buy it after you buy every other car in the game, and even then, only buy it if you feel like having pain or you just want to flex on people, fair enough. You know, that's a valid reason to buy this car, I guess. But that's gonna be it for this video. That is every single car in Untitled Drift Game. Let me know if you agree or disagree down below. Let me know any ideas you have for future videos, and I'll see you later, I guess. Maybe. Bye.